Hey guys, it's Nino. I'm gonna talk today about something I've been hearing and seeing a lot about. I've been seeing some memes that are like, "Don't blame me, I voted for Bernie," and a lot of that. So I want to talk about that. Here's my understanding of that. Right? I get it. It's funny. Like if whatever happens, we died, and we voted for the person that we thought was progressive, and whatever happens now, like, it's not on us, right? Except that it is. Except that everything that's happened up until now and everything that's going to happen moving forward is on us. This isn't about one election, and it isn't about Bernie or Jill or Hillary or Trump or Gary. We collectively, as progressives who were asleep and uninformed and just not doing much, we let it get this bad. And until we take responsibility for the fact that we let it get this bad, we can't fix it. Right? Like, the minute you say, "Don't blame me," you're washing your hands of the situation. You're saying, "I'm not going to be the one to put it back together." And guys, come November 9th, we're going to need you to put it back together. We're all going to have to keep fighting, no matter who ends up living in that house, right? It's going to be us and no one else. So the problem with, like, it's not, it has nothing to do with the progressives, or it's not on us, or any of that. It means that we go back to our holes and we forget about each other. And if Bernie did nothing for this movement, it was bringing us together. Because what I've discovered through this whole thing is that I always knew that I was against things like Citizens United. I just didn't quite know what the Citizens United was, right? I always knew that, abortion should be legal, but I just figured the officials and the politicians would handle it. I always knew my beliefs, but I just didn't know that I had any power to inflict change. So the progressive movement was solidified and united and organized because of Bernie, and that's phenomenal. But the minute we say, "Don't blame me," ... right? Like, "Don't blame me, I voted for Bernie," or "Don't blame me, I didn't have anything to do with it," or "I'm voting Trump," or "I'm voting Hillary," or "I'm voting Jill," or whatever comes after that, "Don't blame me," you're killing the movement. You're just killing it. It's it. Yes. Like, take full responsibility. I know it sucks. I know it's like terrible to take responsibility for the fact that global warming happened on our watch. We were alive. We had a say. Hell, there's a 16-year-old kid who took on the UN to fight against global warming, and he's phenomenal. So if a 16-year-old kid, then I think he was 14, can create change in the world, we could have. We just didn't, and we didn't know how, and that's okay. But we could have. So, honestly and truly, like, just own it. We just get to collectively own that we were asleep, that we didn't know what was going on, that we didn't think we could do it, that we didn't have the confidence, that we didn't know that there were more of us than them. We didn't know we had any power. Fine. That's honest, and it's vulnerable, and it sucks, and I get why people don't want to admit that that's a flaw. But if we don't start there, if we don't honestly look ourselves in the mirror and start at the fact that it's on me, right? New information didn't come out because Bernie became a candidate, right? Like, he didn't present any new information that wasn't there before. He just got us together and got us passionate about it so that we would find out for ourselves. So now we know So before, yeah, we didn't know. But yeah, still a responsibility. We still had a responsibility to know. Right? A lot of people voted even though they didn't know. They voted down ticket. Or they chose not to vote. But whatever their choice was, they were making a choice. We were all making choices. And as a result of every single one of our choices, the world is where it is today. It sucks. Okay? I don't want to look in the mirror and say, because I wasn't informed, Syria is happening. Because I wasn't informed, we might go into World War III with Russia. Because I wasn't informed, global warming is worse and we may not be able to get it back. Because I wasn't informed. But think about the power behind that statement, guys. Let's be really honest with ourselves. If you are able to look at yourself in the mirror and say those words, then you're able to say, because I am now informed, I am powerful enough to change the fucking world. I am powerful enough to make a difference. So this whole don't blame me, it's crap. It's crap. It's a victim card. Okay? Like, it's not about not blaming yourself or not blaming each other. Our cities aren't shit because there's a Democrat or a Republican in office. Our cities are shit because we're not standing up. Our cities are shit because we aren't fighting for our own rights. Our education system is crap because parents aren't there fighting every day. And guess what? When parents join together and fight, things change. Yes, it's a whole hell of a lot different when you're fighting a corrupt government. Absolutely. But guess what? It's not going to change if you sit on your ass and just say, don't blame me, I didn't vote. It's just not going to change. If you want things to change, and I know you do because you're watching this video, then you have to be able to say, it was me. I wasn't awake. I didn't know what I could do, but now I do. And now I'm committed to making it different. Because guys, guess what? Before Bernie, before all of this, Real Progressives wasn't a thing. You wouldn't be looking at me right now. And that's on me. And that's on Steve and Jackie and all of us at Real Progressives. We didn't know each other. We didn't know that there were people in the world that had common political views. We just didn't know how big the movement was. There was no movement. Now there is. So don't hide behind this poor me attitude. Because whoever wins on November 8th, screw them. Honestly and truly, let's be real with the two more likely winners. They don't represent us. They don't, and they suck. So if we go with the line of saying, don't blame me, I voted for Bernie in the primaries, and I told you I wasn't going to vote for Hillary, if you just say that, and then you go back to your hole, guess what? Hillary's going to keep making disastrous bills and passing all these terrible laws. And Trump's going to continue to say asinine, ridiculous things. And they're going to both keep getting away with things that they shouldn't be getting away with because they're both criminal liars. So yes, blame yourself for not doing enough, for not knowing enough. But then forgive yourself and get up and let's do something. Let's build a movement together. Last weekend we had a march in DC and there were people there and it was awesome. I wasn't able to make it and I was watching the live streams of my fellow Real Progressives and it was so great to know that the movement isn't dead. To know that we're doing something. And guys, no movement was won overnight. Women didn't get the right to vote overnight. Segregation didn't end overnight. All of these things, they took years and years. So at this point, we are now awake. And now, if you choose to sit back and do nothing and play the don't blame me card, it's on you. It's 100% on you. You can't all of a sudden know things and wipe your hands of the matter. If I have any gripes with the people that used to vote, were originally for Bernie and are now for Hillary, it's that. You can't go back to sleep after knowing the truth. You can't see corruption in the face and then decide that it's okay. You're part of the problem. You can't have gone through the roller coaster that was this primary season and decide, well, she won, we're going to give it to her. You can't. And, putting this election aside, fine, whatever, do you. But but we have to hold them accountable, whoever it is. Because no way in hell is whomever getting up there, of the two more likely candidates, if either one of them makes it up there, they're not doing anything that's going to help us without us busting our asses every single day to make sure they do. We all know that if Hillary is elected, she's going to pass the TPP, no matter how much she says she's against it now. She's going to change some sentence and say it's some new deal and it's way better. Who's going to stop that? She has friends everywhere. She buys them off. So the minute you say, don't blame me, you're condoning that behavior. It's on you. You are 100% the person I blame, more than anybody else. Guess who I won't blame? Those of us fighting. Those of us in DC marching. Those of us going into the front lines. Those of us fighting the machine. The machine is big. It's huge. And it's scary. And guess what? People have died. So I get it if you're scared. I get it if you're discouraged. I understand. But guess what? Why is your life more important than everybody else's on this planet? Why is mine? Am I fully aware that making this kind of video is going to have me be on some sort of list of hers and she's not going to be watching to make sure I don't do some other thing that's going to reveal something of hers? I'm aware. And I'm aware that I don't give a single fuck. Why? Because my life is not more important than yours, or your parents, or your kids, or the children in Syria, and every other war-torn country, or Iran. That's all of the craziness happening over there. My life is no more important than anybody else's. And so I fight for you. Because guess what? I might be Hispanic, but I look pretty fucking white. And I could pass. I could pass in a Hillary presidency, and I could pass in a Trump presidency. I can pass. They're not stopping and frisking me. They're not finding excuses to throw my ass in jail. I fight for you. And I vote for Jill for you. Because yeah, I have student debt. But I have a decent job and I can pay it. I'm lucky that way. But I fight for your debt. And I fight for your kids. And I fight for your parents. And if I say don't blame me, I voted for Bernie in the primary, and I leave it at that, the end. Game over. They win. So I get it. It's funny. It's cute, guys. Don't blame me. Haha, whatever. But the time for laughs is over. And it's quickly approaching the day where we're going to have to answer to somebody in the White House. And if we don't have a movement that's solid and moving together en masse, we're going to lose. And again, that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make, because if I wasn't, I wouldn't be making this video. But is it a sacrifice that you're willing to make for your kids and your future? Sorry guys, I'm reading. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff happening right now, guys. There's stuff happening in Iran. There's stuff happening in North Dakota. What I'm going to tell you is this is a movement. And even if you believe that there was no shady business in the primary, which I doubt anybody on this watching this video believes that. Even if you believe that everything was on the up and up, we got 45% of the votes, of the Democratic votes. There's more of us than there are of them. Those were just the Democrats. There were more independents that didn't vote. And adding in all of the shadiness that happened. We stand together and we win. So I get that you're scared, and I get that you have jobs, and I get that your jobs don't want you doing things like this. And I get you have families. I have all of those things too. So does Steve, so does Jackie, so does Arn, so does every other real progressive. And we're fighting for you. So now is the time. We're calling you to account. It's really nice that you guys watch our videos. I feel really special. But I'm not here to feel special. I'm here to build a movement. I'm here to get partners in the movement. So honestly, I don't give a crap if you watch me on this video. I care that you're standing next to me when I protest at the North Dakota line. I care that you're there at Occupy Inauguration on January 20th. I care that you stand with us when we fight the machine. Because there's no way in hell we're going to do it alone. And if you can't, because you have, health issues or legitimate something, then contribute in some other way. And I'm not asking for money. Just be there and show solidarity. Now is the time for us to join forces. Because guess what? Ever since the primary, our viewership has dwindled on live streams. And that makes sense because there's less things to watch about, right? Like now the primary's over, people are less enthused. Now the election's going to be over and people are going to be even less enthused. And I get that. So I'm telling you now, before you forget that all of this year has been a whole load of shit. And we get to fight for things like open primaries. We get to fight for things like clean water. We get to fight for good schools for our kids. We get to fight for no wars. We get to fight for the pipeline to be closed down. We get to fight for humans to be treated like humans and corporations to be treated like fucking corporations. For the fact that freedom of speech means the words coming out of my mouth, not how many bills I have in my wallet. Those things aren't gonna happen. Because guess what? Those bills are gonna keep coming out of people's wallets. And as long as they can say that's the way I express my speech, shit's gonna keep going down. As long as they legalize fucking bribery of politicians, shit's gonna keep going down. As long as there's some asinine excuse to get into a fight with some Middle Eastern country, shit's gonna keep going down. And as long as you sit on your ass watching this video instead of getting up off your ass and going to the demonstrations and going to the marches and organizing your own things, shit's gonna keep going down. So I love you guys. You're amazing for watching. You're amazing for being on here and informed. And that's more than a lot of other people. I get it. But until you get up off your ass and help us, shit's gonna keep going down. And how much longer can you sit there and say, don't blame me? Until the world will be over and you get to pretend it wasn't your fault. So good job. You voted for Bernie in the primary. Who cares? It's over now. I get it. And it doesn't matter. Whatever your excuses, whatever your legitimate concerns, the world doesn't care. Shit's gonna keep going down. All around you, every single day, while you keep thinking about why you can't be there. So I'm calling you guys out. And I hope you know that I hope to see you at all of our future demonstrations and at all of the future demonstrations that you can make. And even if it's just the local ones, fine, organize local ones. Know that if you ever organize something locally and there's real progressives around that are free to go, we will. Because that's what we're about. And I hope that our viewers are about that too, and not just about watching that. I love you guys.